Matty, how do you reflect on the last 12 months? Because obviously you were a free agent up until October, now you're about to step out in the Championship again.
And I mean, I kind of, in the summer, kind of reflected on it a little bit, because I mean, last summer was a bit of a whirlwind, really. Having played the games that I played at Bristol City there, and then not being able to kind of get a club, it was a bit strange. But you know, like I said, I went into Leicester, and you know, they were fantastic, kept me fit, and then the opportunity came from Wrexham, and I kind of wanted to grab hold of it, took it with both hands, and then lo and behold, you go and get promoted, and you're back in the Championship. So it's been, you know, crazy, you know, nearly 12 months, and you know, I'm very grateful for that.
Could it have gone any better for you? And prior to that, what were you feeling when you weren't getting a club, you weren't getting that chance?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I wasn't, you know, kind of getting a bit frustrated. You know, I was having kind of doubts on whether I'll play again, really, because it literally was very, very strange in terms of everybody was going down the age route and a little bit more of, you know, create value, that kind of thing. And I think I was at the height of it. My contract finished at probably the worst time for when people were trying that kind of route, and yeah, it was difficult, and you know, I had some kind of real down days, but I thought, you know, I have to keep going, and hopefully if I keep working hard as what I am doing, something will fall. So it did, and you know, like you just said there, it couldn't have happened any better really now, to be in this position and you know, getting ready for a Championship game on Saturday afternoon.
How then do you compare the mindset from now to last year?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, you know, like I said, I've got 3 kids, and it was one of them where I wanted to keep going as well and keep strong and stay focused on that, and that's what I'm taking in now every single day, and being grateful for every single training session, every single game that I've got moving forward.
We're obviously going to ask as well, I mean, we asked the boss about the opportunity here to make it 4 in a row. He's playing it down a little bit, but what do you guys think?
Well, it was 3 in a row last year. I mean, everyone thought that was going to be, you know, kind of not happen. I think for us, it's, you know, every time you're stepping up into a higher division, it gets harder and harder, and I think the Championship's a very, very difficult division, and for us, I think it's just making sure that we keep improving, and I think you'll kind of say, come the end of the season, we'll see what happens, but I think it's important that we, you know, keep working on what this club's been good at, and you know, making sure that every time we go into each Championship game, you know, the other teams come off and make sure that it's a difficult game against us.
There is a potential fairy tale for yourself personally though, because at the end of the season it'll be 10 years since you were part of things at Leicester and they lifted the Premier League trophy. I know that season was obviously ruined for you through injury, but at the same time, I mean, if you could help get Wrexham into the Premier League, there's a bit of a bookend there.
Yeah, it'll be a bookend. I mean, I didn't know that 10 years ago. I mean, wow, it's unbelievable. But I think for us as a group of players, I think everybody's aware of what the club and the story and the conversations that come with it, and we just have to make sure that each game we kind of go out there and you know, we've got game plans. Obviously for every single game is going to be different, so I think the main thing is we go out there and enjoy it as well, because you know, from where the club's been and to where it is now, it's, you know, it's a fairy tale story, and hopefully that continues.
What are your personal aims then for the season?
The personal aims is I want to play as many games as I possibly can. You know, I want to be, you know, still prove that I can play in the Championship, you know, at 34 years old, and that's probably one of the biggest motivations I've got after finishing at Bristol, in terms of the last time I was in the Championship. So that's what kind of drives me, and it's kind of just to help the group and help the lads as much as I possibly can.
And another contract at the end of that?
And another contract at the end of that. I mean, for me at the moment, I feel great. You know, I've got a real swing in my step, and I'm enjoying my football, and I've enjoyed the football club, everything about it. You know, the club, the fans, the staff, everything. So for me, I want to try and play here for as long as possible.
What's the competition for places like, particularly with 8 new faces coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just shows you where the club's at, and obviously what they want to try and achieve, and it's healthy, because competition for places creates, you know, it creates a camaraderie, it creates, you know, you to be on the football pitch knowing that you've got to put a performance in because there's somebody else chasing down, so that every day on that training pitch you know you've got to be at it. So come Saturday, Friday, whenever the games are, you know, you go out there and give out.
Who do you think's got the greatest expectation on for this first game as well? You guys have had it for years, but Southampton coming down from the Premier League.
I think naturally it's, you know, kind of the Premier League team coming down, really, kind of expectation is probably, you know, he's going to be with them because of the squad that we've got, you know, kind of where they've been in the last couple of years. I think from where Wrexham have been in the last couple of years, it's been coming up this way, and they've been climbing to the top and coming back down. So I'd definitely say that it's a bit of an underdog story going into the weekend.
and if you can get that first result away, it builds momentum very
quickly.
quickly.
It does do, and that's what obviously we're going to go there and do, and we know the challenge that we're going to face against a top Southampton team. But I think for us, it's exciting, and like I said, we've got to go there and enjoy it, but try and come away with the 3 points. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Matty, good to see it. The manager referenced there that certainly on Saturday there might be a bit of an underdog mentality. You might thrive on that. Do you think that's going to apply for the whole season, or maybe just for those types of games?
I think it can change, can't it, very quickly. I think if you put a few results together, then everybody starts talking about the old 4 in a row and things like that, and it works the opposite way. But I think certainly for a newly promoted team from League One and the journey that the club's been on, I would definitely say that there's going to be quite a lot of games where teams have got maybe a little bit more, kind of maybe know-how in the league, certainly for the start. But I think the players that we've brought in, hopefully help the lads that kind of haven't been there. And there's going to be times where we're going to be backs to the wall, and hopefully there's going to be times where we're on the front foot. So I think each game is different in the Championship. That's what's so great about it.
You talked about the players that come in, a lot of Premier League experience, international experience. How have you felt that as a club already?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic for the club to bring in players, of that calibre, and I think it only helps the group. Certainly not just, kind of the lads that have been here, but certainly some of the younger boys coming in, kind of Max, he's kind of one that, kind of looking at, he's a young lad, and obviously everyone wants to get around him and make sure he has a good season. He's got so many different players now to try and help him through that.
And you referenced yourself that some of the words you used, I think it was crazy and whirlwind, 12 months, it's been unbelievable. But how's this club changed since you joined to now?
I wouldn't say it's changed kind of too much inside it. It's still the same, kind of fun, kind of energetic, and it's a pleasure to be here, and kind of every lad that's come in has enjoyed the camaraderie, enjoyed the togetherness. I think there's certain aspects of the club that will be changing from the outside with regards to the stadium, the pitch is being redone, the players that are being signed and things like that now, but that's just part of football, and when a club moves forward, which Wrexham are doing, it's an ambitious club, and like I say, you want to be part of it.
Thank you, all the best.
Thank you.
Tom?
I'm alright.
Rich? Okay. Matty, it was only pre-season, but just yourself getting the chance to captain the side, you must have been proud of that.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, it's always great when you get given that opportunity in Australia, and I'm kind of, like pinch yourself a little bit, because like I say, you forget about where you were and things like that. So to have that opportunity to do that, I'm really pleased, and like I said, Jimmy's the captain, and we'll always respect that. But I think there's numerous players now that in that dressing room are going to try and help and lead, and we need that throughout. We need many leaders on the pitch, and hopefully that can be one of them.
Obviously, the manager sees the leadership qualities you have, though, and that will be important going forward.
Yeah, I'm pleased about that, and it's something that I've always prided myself on, to try and lead and kind of be a professional and lead by example. So hopefully I can continue doing that.
And no shortage of competition in your position.
Yeah. And it's great, and I've always had competition, and you always kind of you want it, and you want to try and keep that shirt and earn it. And I mentioned there, it's definitely healthy for the squad, and I think it'll help us throughout this whole season.
Yeah, when you came in last year, there was no shortage of competition, and you played practically every game as well, didn't you? That says a lot about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was given an opportunity, and I wanted to try and take it. I knew that if I could take this opportunity where the club wants to go, and where where it could go, is to be part of that would be amazing. So that was one of my main focuses, and I kind of did that, and like I said there, I want to try and play for as long as I can at this football club.
Lastly, 43 years since the club was at this level. Yeah. It means a lot to fans who have been through some dark days. You must be delighted to be, you've helped provide that for them.
Yeah, I think it's been such a long time for the football club, but I think the journey that they've been on these last couple of years has been fantastic for them, and obviously we're well supported, and we are very thankful for that. So I think it's the same for them, really, to go and enjoy every single game, get behind the team as they always do, and hopefully we can repay them with 3 points on Saturday.
Cheers, Matty.
Thank you very much.